I think in a way, a lot of this stuff is like kind of funny to watch because Kanye is being ridiculous, Fuentes is being ridiculous, everything is kind of like unbelievable. But I think in another way, it's probably a little bit scary that like this type of rhetoric is becoming like so mainstream that arguably the most popular musician or one of them in the world is like on this insane fucking bender right now. And I don't know, I feel like we're, especially on top of the athlete shit, especially on top of the deplatforming stuff, I feel like we're about to see a big upswing in like scary levels of like anti-Semitic shit in terms of hate crimes and weird shit like that. I don't think it'll get to the point where like the U.S. government is like involved, but holy shit. It's kind of spooky watching this. Again, it's all kind of like memes and jokes, but even in my fucking YouTube chat, like I'm sure there's like 20% of people, because of all the conservative fans I picked up, were like, yeah, he says a few things that are a little bit off the wall, but I think I kind of agree with him for the most part. Like, Jesus Christ, it's a little bit spooky. After watching this, I'm glad that denying the Holocaust is forbidden by law. Well, hold on. That's not true in the United States. And I don't think the law should change that way. I like my freedom of speech. Oh, in Germany, yeah. Will Tim Pool talk about what Kanye said about him? Yeah, I don't know, man. There's some weird battle lines that are being drawn right now on like the conservative / anti-establishment side of the internet. Holy shit. I've repeated this line a few times, but especially because I think if you're looking to push back against stuff like that, I don't know how equipped the Democratic Party is to deal with it right now. I think the Democratic Party can. Progressives can't. But I think establishment Dems can. I don't know if that hurts or helps, though. Is it audio or video that gets picked up by copyright? I think it's probably both, actually. Can you imagine DeSantis running for Republicans and both Ye and Trump running as independent? Yeah, I don't know, dude. The Republican establishment is in fucking shambles right now.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, you think?
What was the worst thing said?
The worst thing said.
Optically, like what's gonna hammer the right wing the worst?
Well, I don't know how much this is hurting the right wing versus like hurting just Kanye.
Are you kidding? This is associated with Trump.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And I know that Trump tried to get away from it, but I think McConnell, was trying to pin it on Trump. Yeah, that was my question earlier. Is I wonder how much of this is going to blow back onto Trump because of the dinner and shit they had. Because Trump was kind of known as like, oh, he's associated with Ye, right? Ye goes in, he talks to Trump, they like each other. And Ye was like Trump's connection to like the black youth vote that he saw as like a useful idiot. And now, yeah, I don't know. It's super weird. Everything is super weird.
It feels like one of those honeypot things where it's like everyone gets to speak and then they all get arrested.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I'm really worried because Nick is he's so young for this kind of a world where it's like, what did they say, that there was a rigging on their airplane?
Well, they fly around in a private jet, right?
Yeah, but it had like an emergency landing. Like, what is that about?
Oh, I don't know what joke they were making. If they had to change directions or what was going on, I'm not sure.
I don't think that was a joke. I think they actually
Well, no, something happened, but I don't know what was going on, right?
Yeah, it seems like 2016 on steroids now.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's
I never thought I'd be the one to say this, but optics matter, dude. Like, holy
yeah, no shit. You don't think having Yan there saying over and over again, I love Hitler, I love the Nazis, I love, like,
yeah,
that shit is going to be replayed for like the next week probably. Jesus.
And what's weird is not even Nick says that stuff.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing I was joking about, was that like Ye is like more mask off than Fuentes is, like by far. It's not even close. Like usually the AFR dudes will kind of call out that Nazi shit as being cringe, and that like, oh no, we're like Christian nationalists and shit like that. Like they don't go that hard. So to see Fuentes just go full on, or I'm sorry, to see Kanye just go full on into it is just insane.
I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either.
Bro, it's over. He gave us graduation. My beautiful dark twisted fantasy. I told you guys. I told you motherfuckers. Okay? I told you he fell off. What did Ye say? He ended the segment with I like Hitler. Do you think that's going to be any mainstream media publication will go with that headline? Quote, I like Hitler, end quote, Kanye West. The funny thing is that is that I think Kanye might be more anti-Semitic than Nick is, unironically, or Nick is just super mask on, and Ye is just because I feel like the AF guys were trying to get away. No, not I feel like they were trying to get away from the Nazi shit. I'm like, we're not Nazis, we're different, we're a Christian nationalist, we go for this and that, and like we don't do the Hitler shit, we don't do the Nazi shit, that's cringe, blah 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 blah. And now Ye is up here being like, I like Hitler. Jesus. We're in a timeline right now. We're in a timeline right now where it's not impossible that Fuentes goes back to America First saying, I had to quit Ye's campaign because he was too anti-Semitic for me. Like, it's not impossible.
In my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're gonna stop dissing the all the time.
Yeah, they said they're the Avengers of this movement, and I'm like, yo, they just need Mel Gibson.
Jesus.
It's kind of crazy for me because isn't this the perfect divide and conquer for Trump's movement? Like this has to divide, because now if you like Trump, you're not extreme enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like
it's kind of
Trump's the only one capable of winning, so it's like,
well, between Kanye and Trump?
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Kanye has zero chance. But like, the question is going to
Yeah, so
be,
it's
because
like-
this is
it's
always
like-
what I think in the future is, Kanye's probably going to get bored of this and drop it in like a month, because the guy's manic as fuck. He'll start some new project and just abandon this completely. That'd be my guess.
You think?
Yeah, because he did last time. He just doesn't have the mind to like take anything seriously like this for a long periods of time. He's just going to jump to the next project. But if he does continue it, like, yeah, it just further divides, I guess, the far right against themselves. But I don't know. It's pretty wild. It would be interesting to see him try to go all the way, like to actually go, like he did. He managed to get himself on the ballot before, I think in a few states, but.
Yeah, this is a really bad start.
Well, I mean, I guess it's good on my end.
You could see
It's good for the
you could see-
Democrats. But yeah.
Yeah, but you could see Nick. Well, I don't know if it's good for you guys, because anytime it gets radicalized, even you guys suffer, right?
Well,
So-
I mean, it's good politically for the Democrats. The Republican establishment is in shambles right now. Trump was already looking bad after that red wave shit. Now he got hit with this Fuentes meal, which wouldn't be as big a deal except Kanye was there, and now Ye is blowing all of this shit up even more. So and this is probably, there's going to be, like you said in the beginning, there's probably going to be some blowback on Trump for this. So it's just like the Republican establishment is like scrambling to figure their shit out.
So didn't you see Nick was like wanting to interrupt when he was talking about all the extra stuff?
Oh
You
man,
know, like
I don't know.
kids
I
and
think
stuff?
Fuentes is just gonna shut up and dick ride. He's just gonna sit there and do whatever he says because he wants to be hanging off those nuts. So I don't think he would ever like contradict him or anything. I wonder how scary it is for him to try to give any feedback in private too, because like I wonder if he's worried that if he says the wrong thing, like Ye's just gonna completely dump him. You know?
Well, I actually think that Nick is worried about radicalizing Kanye more, which is so weird to think about, right? But because he understands optics matter, so he had
Even
to
Fuentes has a hard time with optics sometimes, but yeah, nowhere near to the level that Kanye does. It's just unreal.
And what kills me is Kanye eventually backtracks it and says, "I love old people" and stuff, and it's like, yeah, well, that's what you were trying to say, but you only headlined
The
thing
I
that
like
you,
Nazis, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
because
like-
arguably there is like a world where it's like, well, Christians are told to love all people, and that's what I'm talking about, blah blah blah. But that's not what it comes off as, right? Especially on top of the like, we're gonna go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people and shit, right? Nobody's gonna hear that.
I always see this where it's like he cannot understand that he's talking to a collective. He thinks he's having a conversation with planet Earth, but it's a person. You know what I mean? Like if you have a conversation with a bunch of people listening, you sound very different. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. But I think he's also just kind of crazy, like mentally ill. I don't know if it's the bipolar or what, but like he's a little bit off his rocker, yeah.
I think losing his family was.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't like believe like in the Holocaust numbers and shit. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But I don't think he's crazy. I think losing his family made him hate the degeneracy. He even called out
The
his
Kim Kardashian shit and that's
he called out his own 3-ways that he was having.
yeah.
That was crazy.
That Pete dude broke his brain, I guess. That 10-inch white cock maybe will end the world, you know?
Yeah.
Jesus. Well,
I cannot believe just a few weeks ago everyone was talking about how this cycle is going to be a lot different than 2016. It's going to be more mild.
maybe. I mean, it still might be. We don't know, right? Like, it might be the case that now Trump and Ye fall off hardcore, and then most of the because I think Republicans. Here, wait. Why are we? Don't call me. Come to my room, okay? It's weird when you pull me aside privately in the hallway. Okay, I'm more comfortable in my room. Okay. Oh, hello.
You're more comfortable here?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, what are you saying?
What was I just saying? What were we talking about?
How 2016 is actually looking softer.
Because maybe these guys fall off hardcore, and then like they just don't get that much attention to the Republican Party anymore. Because I think Republicans are getting a little bit tired of like the shenaniganery with the Trump stuff. But yeah, I don't know. The problem that the Republicans have to deal with, and this is a problem that I think they've earned. They deserve this. It's their fault. I think the problem that they have is that they were way too tolerant of the radical shit from Trump, and they should have like come down on that hardcore instead of like letting it run amok so much. And now that they didn't do that, now they're paying the price for that basically.
For leadership,
I would just like to continue to say,
there was none. Okay,
I have
when
no
Owen
sympathy for
Schroyer got
Republicans.
charged,
You
when
guys
Ollie Alexander
totally
got sued
earned
and
this.
investigated. Alex,
This
when
is
you got
all on
sued,
you.
Did we get a call from Mar-a-Lago?
You had your time in the
saying, hey, I'm a
sun,
billionaire
and
I
this is
wanna
what
help
you.
fund what you guys have been through.
It's time for the
me?
reaping.
No, we didn't.
This is the ramification of embracing extremism year after year after year after year after year, and now you get fucked. And you deserve it. You should. And you should be fucked for a little bit. So you remember next time. Okay? Maybe embracing the most extremist fucking rhetoric ever as a means to own the Dems, maybe that's actually not a good idea.
Bigger than that, what about
I always imagined if you want to do this level of politics, this extreme, wouldn't it be better to be cult-like, popular first, and then switch where everyone just agrees with you? Why would you start this extreme?
Well, that's always what I thought for like, I always
like
thought
if
that like
anyone could do what they're doing, it would be Trump, right? Trump could easily do what they're doing, but them, since they're like new to this, I don't know how effective they'll be.
Yeah, I don't know. People were saying that for Trump for a long time, that he's going to switch and be more moderate or whatever, so that more people will like him once he's president. But he never did. I think the issue with the Republican Party that they've had is that like usually your extremist wing in your party is a minority, right? Like for the Democrats, like the Justice Dems and the progressives and the socialists, that's a very, very, very small part of the Democratic Party, right? Like it's a small part in terms of percentage of the population, and it's an even smaller part in terms of a percentage of the voter base because it's mainly young people that don't vote. But for Republicans, like, what is it? Like, still 60% of the entire Republican establishment don't believe in the results of the election. Like, there's just such a huge percentage of the Republican Party that's actually radicalized. And the Republicans have, nobody but blame but themselves for that. So, Rip. What are you going to do? Where do they go from here?
Well, it seems like they're waiting for more people to join them. So they want bigger people like, I guess, Mel Gibson types to stand up and, I wonder if Trump believes anything they're saying, right?
If Trump believes anything that
Nick and Kanye are saying.
Oh.
Like behind closed doors, I wonder if Trump believes in any of it.
Typically, older people aren't anti-Semitic. When it comes to U.S. politics, like, everybody loves the Jews. Like Israel always enjoys support from the Democratic and the Republican establishment. It's just nobody.
That's just greatest ally, apparently.
Yeah, of course, in the Middle East, like nobody. Yeah. So I don't think Trump is any different. Like this dude's a real estate guy from New York, right? There's no way that he feels any different. I don't believe in that regard. So.
Man. I remember hating 2017, 18, 19 when it was getting extreme because there was always bad news on TV. I actually don't know how you did all that politics and didn't take a break from it. I took a break and it was just like negative. But this time around, it's going to be worse. Plus, with all the energy crisis and inflation, people are going to be a lot more on edge.
Well, maybe it's hard to say. That's why, like, the inflation could be gone in a year or two. Maybe it could come down, right? We're seeing GDP growth again. Interest rates have bumped up. Gas prices have fallen to. Are gas prices back at normal levels?
Well, would it even matter after COVID? People are in debt, period. So
I don't know if
people are
that's
more-
true. I don't know if people took on more debt. I think people generally saved money during the coronavirus shit. There was a lot of stimulus given out.
I mean, if there was ever a time for divide and conquer, it would be now. Because after COVID, people are done. They feel lied to about vaccines. Now they can get radicalized hardcore by people like this, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Like it actually feels like their perfect plan. Like it just feels like the perfect storm. It's so weird. Like that was the weirdest thing you've ever covered. I didn't even laugh. I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Well,
It says his son-in-law is Jewish. No. Okay. What are your thoughts on Israel?
bro, that's a complicated question.
Adam22 already posted the Hitler stuff. Everyone's posting the Hitler stuff on Twitter. Holy shit.
Yeah, of course.
I think he's doing it to drive clickbait because he always backtracks to "I love all people."
Destiny can say the smartest thing and then say people didn't take on more debt from COVID. I can't argue with like your feelings. I'm a facts over feelings kind of guy. Sorry. The reality is that over the coronavirus pandemic, it might be that things changed afterwards, but over the coronavirus pandemic, people took home more money and saved more money, I think, than they had in any year in U.S. history. But the reason why was because when services shut down, people didn't have things to spend their money on, and there was a ton of stimulus given out in the forms of PPP checks and in the forms of unemployment insurance and in the forms of stimulus checks to the American people. That's just factually true. I mean, if you emotionally feel something different about it, that's fine. But that's on. But I mean, I can't argue with your feelings about that. Sorry. Inflation isn't going anywhere. Only a dipshit would ignore the mass debt. I don't know. Are you talking about like national debt? I hate that all the abolish the Fed. Dude, there's like the perfect storm of like horrible macro econ takes where all of these fucking morons that don't know anything about finance are coming out of like the crypto world thinking they have any place to talk about finance. And it's like the Ron Paul like abolish the Fed shit on steroids. Like, oh, central banking is horrible and the national debt is going to bankrupt this country. And I know this because I invested in 12 Bitcoin. And I know, like, oh God, kill me, dude.
Yeah, haven't they been talking about national debt for like 1,000 years?
Yeah, of course.
What do you think of your boy Nick on the national stage?
I don't know. He was just kind of there. He didn't get to talk much, but
He didn't get to talk much, but when he talked, I think it was pretty significant. Like, people were clowning on him who know him from this space. You know, the mainstream media, like the night hosts, are shitting on him. But Kanye would say something fucking ridiculous, absurd, whatever, and Nick would do his thing, which is speak incredibly intelligently to it and make it sound very legitimate. Like there was the one comment where they brought up the architect of the Affordable Care Act's brother, and then he just talked through the points of how these people are connected, and everyone has some experience or familiarity with nepotism, so like it's not a foreign concept, and so they just point out so-and-so knows so-and-so, so-and-so is related to so-and-so, it's done whatever, and it gives that legitimacy to it. And I think that while we're going to laugh and joke about how the Republicans are going to hurt from what Kanye is doing and Trump is doing, like Nick's going to get on Tucker Carlson. He's going to get there.
yeah, but I mean, like Alex Stein has been on Tucker Carlson. I do think at some point, I think the Republicans, if it hasn't already happened, are going to try to break from this like super extremist shit from the right. I think that they're going to try to like pull back a little bit because I don't see, after the Trump shit has been failing, I don't see them like going harder in this direction, regardless of what every side thinks, and especially people online, regardless of what people think about politics, where the goal is to be as extreme as possible. Really, people are fighting for voters in the middle. Like, I think that's always the goal. So I have a hard time believing that Republicans are going to see what's going on and be like, we need to be even more unhinged.
So I agree with you, but I mean, we would have said 5 years ago, not this many people would ever deny the election. Not this many people would have radical views about, you know, other people in this country. But, you know, they just, the DHS, I think, just released an announcement that Jews, LGBT, et cetera, are under like a particularly high risk of domestic terroristic threat. And I'm not trying to sound soy or hyperbolic, but I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say we're a few events away from some major shit happening in this country. But that shit might
yeah, I
be,
mean, I don't deny that. I'm just saying that for the Republican strategy, I don't think they want to continue going down this
no,
path. Yeah.
I agree. Like political strategy, I don't think it's going to go that way, but American sentiment, it could. And so Nick ends up, kind of showing his chops in these situations where he's got Ye talking crazy. And yeah, he's on Alex Jones's show, but that show went viral. Everyone was watching that, watching clips from it. And they're going to see Nick in a somewhat different light. And Tucker Carlson has no problem giving a platform to those people. And I'm thinking of Tucker Carlson because it's the biggest, most watched news show in the country, right?
Yeah, but what is do you think that Fuentes is going to become like a mainstream Republican? Is that what your thought is?
I think it's very possible. I think, or at least he sets himself up to be a very important figure should other events happen that sway more towards his line of thinking.
Okay. I guess we'll see. I don't think so, but it's possible. I guess I think it's possible right now.
Well, I think even if that doesn't come to fruition, I think he's showing he's got some chops.
Well, he's
like,
always
beyond
had
just
some
this-
chops. It's not a matter of if he has chops. It's a matter of if his rhetoric is too extreme for the average American person, right?
I agree with you. But we usually see him more toned down. He usually doesn't say anything near what Kanye
Yeah, but that's
is
because
saying.
Kanye is more extreme than he is with his opinions, right?
Oh, no, right. But what I'm saying is, like, we don't see Nick making those kind of extreme comments. While Nick will make extreme stuff, he couches it, and he does it pretty articulately and eloquently in a way that doesn't make you think, oh, this guy's an outright Nazi. So if you're sitting there listening and he's talking about the things you like let's say you are inclined to believe there is an issue with the establishment Jews or anything like that, he's going to say it in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're too anti-Semitic. You're just looking into things the way
I don't
they
think
are.
that. I don't think the issue there is Fuentes. I think the issue there is like Kanye and all of the NBA players and shit that are like starting to get in on this shit. I think that was more of an issue. I don't think Fuentes is going to be the tipping point.
No, I'm just saying that I think I see him, if anything goes that way, where the party does lean into it or faction breaks off, I see him becoming a more prominent figure than just the internet debate lord. I think he's rising in relevancy.
Maybe. I guess we'll see. All right. Well, 15 minutes to D&D. Do we have any other... Do we have any other questions, comments, or concerns?
D&D, what?
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh,
every
geez,
day D&D happens. There's like some world earth-shattering shit. It might be D&D's fault that anything is happening. Who the knows?
Isn't your stream 20K? Like, why would you throw that away?
Well, I've got time scheduled with other people. I can't just come over.
What happened to Milo?
I guess he's still working in the background, right?
His DM leaks, I guess.
I saw the Laura Loomer try to like blow up his relationship with Kanye, but
He was saying, yeah, gay.
yeah, I saw that. But yeah, I think Ye on the show said he still liked him, so must not have been that big of a deal to him.
Well, how does she have your number?
Well, she called me because she had some concerns about Milo running my campaign.
Oh, that's great. So here's the deal. We've got
my
Laura
God.
Loomer's number.
All
Can
the
we
drama is coming back.
actually,
Oh yeah, you met Milo. What's he like?
Can I say flamboyant, or is that like homophobic? I don't know. He's Milo.
He's straight now, so
Yeah, true. We
he's Miles now.
Yeah, that debate was wasn't that debate like 2 years ago? Or was it before COVID? I'm not sure.
Oh, time flies. It feels like yesterday. It wasn't really a debate. It was more a conversation.
It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice is gonna sound like that, Netanyahu.
so you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard.
This is the man that made graduation.